欢迎收听杂物间，
You are listening to The Storage Room,
你最好的口袋朋友。
your best pocket friend.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Linsey。
嘿，大家好，我是 Mark。
好，今天我们邀请到了一位相对而言比我们更年轻一点的嘉宾。那今天的嘉宾呢，名字叫做 Chill。Hi Chill，would you please introduce yourself a little bit?
Hi everyone, my name is Chill. Well, no, my name is not Chill. I just go by Chill. That's all. You said I'm younger, so I'm 26, and I'm an English teacher. Well, that's all.
Where are you right now?
Oh, I'm at Xinjiang, Urumqi.
Great. So Chill, since you are younger, we're going to talk about something that is more related to the younger people. That is relationships. Because for older people like me, Mark is married. I'm single, but I'm putting myself out of the dating market for so many years, right? I'm not dating anybody. But for younger people, dating is kind of important in your lives, right? It's either because of the, the passion you still have towards life. Like we have probably I don't have zero passion towards life. But you guys still have the passion towards life, right? And you're still very interested in, to explore a little bit in this dating market, right? So are you recently dating anybody these days, Joe?
Well, I think you have to define dating. Like, just go for a meal and go for a movie. That's not a date, right? That's not.
Well, how do you define dating? So how do you define dating?
I think my definition on dating is like two people talking constantly, just sharing like, what happened in your life and then blah, blah, blah. Like you have to listen, right? And you have to care about the other person's life. In my opinion, that's dating. But like if you just like do something together, right? Like such as you go to a movie and you have a meal together, like that's not dating. Like if I don't care about what's happening in your life and if I don't know like, a lot of things about you, then I don't think that's dating. That's just like, we're chilling. That's all.
That's all, right? Yeah. So what about the bummers? Like when you were dating people?
I mean, you know me for like quite a while now. Like there's one thing about me is like I'm not an awkward person. Like I don't make anything awkward, right? Even if it's like really silent and like the person like he doesn't even know what I'm talking about, like I can always make everything really smooth. I think the bummer thing in a relationship, well, if you make things awkward or like you always say no and you're not willing to, be adventurous, that's the bummer in a relationship, in my opinion.
All right.
Yeah.
Then would it be a bummer that if somebody's only interested into the sex, but this person has zero interest to know about you? Do you think it's a bummer as well?
I mean, like before, like we define like what we are. I think those kind of question like comes first, right? Like, what do you want? Are you like, do you just want that, or like you want to be more intimate and you want to like get to know each other? So I don't think I will make like that kind of like quick decision. Like if that person only is interested in sex, then so be it. Like he's just at that category, right? He's not in my like dating file. So like before, like if as long as you say everything like before, that's not a bummer. I mean, if you want that, then okay, yeah, I can only want that. I can like get anything, like everything else from elsewhere. So we're cool.
So can I assume what you are saying is you could separate in terms of sex and romantic relationships? Is that correct?
Well, yeah, separate both of them. I mean, like in an ideal relationship, of course you want both of them, right? But like you're hooking up with someone and the sex is like super, super good, but that person is dull. So that's why that's all he's good for. But if you have someone else that you can really communicate and, but you never try to have like, how do you say, like physical intimacy? Is that how you say it? But yeah. So, yeah. I mean, if someone is just good for one thing, then just use it. Don't try to like change that person. That's my opinion.
You select, you don't change.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you select. You don't change. And women changing men, that's like the dumbest thing ever. I see my mom trying to change my dad for so long. So it never happened. Nothing ever changed. So yeah.
Then
Yeah.
bummer is a word which is kind of neutral, right? But if we say red flag, what
Red flag.
kind of
Oh.
the red flags? Like what kind of things could be considered as the red flags in the relationship? I mean, a romantic relationship.
Like in my opinion,
Mhm.
right? Like I don't think I can represent anyone but myself.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, I think the first red flag is like the person is still having any sort of like communication, or like if the ex is still exists in, his life, then no, that's a big red flag.
Mhm.
That's the first one. And I think the second red flag is if that person talks trash about, the ex, that's another big red flag.
Mhm.
And if he makes like all sorts of like, I mean, like I'm not asking you to be a feminist, just like, you and me, Lindsay, but
Mm.
like the least you can do is respect women, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, that if that person is some sort of like misogynist, then yeah, that's another red flag.
All right. So what
Yeah.
about like violence?
Oh yeah, that's a red flag too.
Because we do
I mean,
have
like,
we do have this kind of phrase in Chinese, 男人不坏，女人不爱, right, Mark?
Well, I think that's a misconception. I think that's somebody who's trying to propel that kind of I think it's actually misogynist trying to propel that concept. I disagree. I think to a certain extent, women are fully capable of understand who are for a short term and who are for a long term. For somebody who's not capable of understanding right from wrong, then he's not there for you long term. Use it and trash it. That's what I always say.
So yeah, I mean, if that person, like before you start this relationship, you see this person actually using violence to solve anything, how do you know? Like, how do you know? Like, in the end, he's not going to do that to you. Of course, he's going to do that to you. You're going to become a problem. He's going to try to solve you with violence. So yeah, I don't agree with that phrase either. Like, 男人不坏，女人不爱. Come on,
Yeah.
it's 2024.
Yeah. But sometimes according to a lot of movies and even the literature, right? There are guys, they could be somehow depicted into these kind of bad guy kind of figure, right? But this bad guy kind of figure has something in common, which I don't really think very realistic. They just love their wives, but they could be like super violent to the rest of the world. I just find it very hard to believe.
Yeah, me too. There's a difference between like being violent all the time and get done, right? Like if you have to be violent to get done, as long as you don't affect your lovers or like, the people around you, you're beating someone else, then yeah, sure, beat them to solve my problem, but don't beat me.
All right. So
That's
this
so
霸道总裁, yeah. So this 霸道总裁 might not be your cup of tea, Chill.
No. Like
right.
you just feel suffocated, when someone being 霸道总裁. No, that's like some sort of like teenage fantasy, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, in my mind, that's way too young. Just like, when we were talking about that game, the AI game.
Yeah.
Like when you said, I feel like you're gonna like that criminal guy, and I'm like,
Well, I seriously thought you would like that.
yeah. I mean,
criminal
like
guy.
in the movies, I mean, especially in Harry Potter, like I am rooting for all the villains, right? Like I'm Team Slytherin. I mean, I love Voldemort because he has a purpose and he does get, everything done. But in reality, like if we come back to reality, then no, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm a really nice person, but yeah, I mean, try to be nice. I mean, you don't have to be mean all the time. You don't have to be like violent all the time to, to let people know you or to be heard. No. So yeah.
So what about Mark? Does this 霸道总裁 kind of vibe work for you?
Well, first of all, I think so-called the 总裁, it's a very rare breed, to be honest. I think it is just like what Chill had mentioned. It's a fantasy, just like in your fantasy, I always consider fantasies are good to be boyfriends, but not to be husbands, right? It's something you can think about, even if you meet them, like, use it. It's really not for a long term. Yeah, don't fantasize about something that rarely happens.
Because I've seen some of the streamers, not really streamers, vloggers, they're criticizing a kind of gesture that some guys may have, right? They could actually hold the girl's neck when they're walking, just hold the back of the neck. That looks a little bit, I don't know, weird for them, because that looks pretty manipulative somehow. But that is the vibe that a lot of girls were educated to like in those movies and TV series somehow. But I don't know.
What TV series are we talking about? Holding
someone's the back of the neck. Oh, that a lot of TV series and movies, Chinese ones mostly, I guess.
In that kind of movies, like in Chinese movies, like in one of those, like 霸道总裁爱上我, it's always about some guy in a uniform. Like he's either going to be someone in the military, or like it's like the time is at some sort of like war season. He's always wearing something, and then like he's choking you by the neck, and I'm like, really? You have bigger things to worry about?
Like basically this 霸道总裁 kind of concept is more of a stalker. For me, this guy has a lot of power. This guy has a lot of money, so he could have almost like destroy you like in a minute. Right? So this guy would actually just ask people to follow you around and then get very manipulative and then force you to do things that you don't like. Even you don't even pick your dress when you're invited to a party, right? So that's kind of that's the image that we have towards this 霸道总裁 according to those movies and TV series somehow.
That itself, it's a very unequal relationship,
right,
from the start. And if you're talking about power dynamics, right, it's very unequal. To me, as I said, I always look at it as it's a short term or it's a long term. If it's short term, then you play with it, and that's fine. For any women, I always say, like, you got to figure out what you like, and you go for it, right? But you got to figure out, is it for a short term, for a long term? For a long term, that what else are you looking for? But in terms of power inequality, I don't think it's a long term solution for any relationships.
Yeah, when Linsey was talking about that 霸道总裁, it just reminded me of another red flag. Empathy. Like the guy has to have empathy.
Yeah. So now I am a little bit like curious about Chill's choices towards this. Mark, do you still remember when you were streaming, you just asked us the question, like, how do you prioritize different things? What are those 4 things? The looks, the intimacy, and then the money, right? And personality. Like, how do we choose? How do we rank those 4 qualities from a human being? So
well, before we ask Chill to answer that question, maybe Chill can have an open question in terms of what her criteria are. What are her priority in terms of if she decides to go out with someone or have a potential relationship with someone?
So we're talking about long-term relationships, right?
Right, absolutely. Somebody who you are hoping to spend a long time with, if not the rest of your life.
Well, I hope that person can be open-minded, right? Not that narrow-minded. You have to be a little bit adventurous, just like I said. Don't be a bummer. And how do you say? He has to have empathy. I mean, sometimes I get way too emotional, right? Like, even you can't relate, but like when I'm crying, when I'm feeling like sad, you can't just don't do anything. I mean, like, at least ask me like what happened, or like how are we gonna solve this? That's it. And then 我感觉也要看他跟他自己的父母相处的那个模式是什么样子的，就要看一下他的原生家庭。
family dynamics.
Yes, the family dynamics, and just to see this person, like, does he like seek approval of his, like his dad's approval, his mom's approval, or just to see the family and how he treats his family member. That's pretty important. I mean, if we're talking about a long-term relationship, I mean, of course, I'm going to think like, maybe someday we're going to have a family, right? And and then let's see if this guy is he like willing to fight for the life that he wants to have or not? Just like I'm working on it, right? I'm not at my ideal place, but I'm still working on it. Like, let's see. Like, can we do that together? Can we, like, move forward together do we have the same goal? Even if we don't have the same goal, like, can we make each other a better person just by staying together?
Wow.
Right. Well, this is a little bit more very abstract in a way, very conceptual, right? So are you currently, let's use some kind of concrete examples, right? Are you currently dating anyone?
Nope. I'm hanging out with a lot of people, but I'm not dating.
Right. So let's talk about one of your most memorable relationship you had before. Let's say with a person, just in your mind, you pick that person that's most memorable. What was the quality that he possesses that impressed you the most to start dating with him?
This brought back some bad memories.
Oh, bad memories.
Bad memories. Memorable.
Yeah, when you said like the most memorable relationship, like the first one in my mind is like the most traumatizing, the most like the stupidest one.
Why was it? What was it? The first one? Was it like where
no,
is it placed?
Well, it was supposed to be like I mean, like Linsey knows I used to like, I used to go both way, right? So I dated guys and I dated girls. Well, there was like the first girl that I dated is like, that's it. That was the person, right? When I fell in love with her, I didn't even notice like she was a girl. I mean, I love her as a person. I don't know, like, how do you say? I wasn't even considering about her gender.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. How?
Okay.
How? I'm trying to get that statement right. You said you can't even see her gender in a way.
Yes, I can. I mean, I can't. Yes, in my mind, when I discovered that I love this person, it's like I want to be around her 24/7. And I know when I'm with her, I'm like the most happiest, right? I get to say whatever I want. I don't have to pretend. And this person knows me. Like, I want to spend as much as time, as I can with her, because I know with her, I'm the happiest. So that was the first person. And then there was a second one that was the
Also
biggest
traumatizing.
mistake. Oh, yes, that was the biggest mistake. Oh my God.
Well,
oh my
you should
God.
write a book.
Okay, Linsey, you know why I have like so many side accounts? It's just to avoid that person, like, just in case. Yeah.
Wow.
And that person happens to be a girl as well, or a boy?
Yeah. I mean, the second one and the third one started like, I mean, you're a guy, maybe you can relate. Like, it started like how do you say?
A
rebound,
friendship?
right?
Oh, okay.
Like a rebound, just to get me through. Like, I lost the person that I, really, really cherish, and I cannot do that by myself. I mean, I need someone to be there with me. So, like, just to distract me. So that started off as a rebound and then ended with the lifetime trauma. Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, that person, like, when you say like what attracted you from the first place was with this person for trauma person. It started out like, when I first met her, everything was like fantastic. 不是有句话吗？什么如果人生只若初见。Like, this is the best way to describe that relationship. Oh my God. Oh God.
So is it even thinking about it gets you a little bit
It's giving me like goosebumps, right?
Yeah.
So like that ended in 2019 until 2024. Like, this person is like still haunting me. She's like that, relentless.
Wait, this is the first girl or the second girl?
The second one, the rebound
the
one,
second
the traumatizing.
Jeez.
I mean,
wait, what attracted you to her, or what attracted you to have a relationship with her, although that she's there for you besides that?
Well, just like what I say, like the first time when I saw her, I just felt like, I was back with my first girlfriend. It's like everything was so awesome, talking to this person, it made me like, like myself. I like me. And then it started so great. And then the second time was a little bit off. The third time was a little bit off. And then we start to date, right? She uses that sort of like, how do you say that? Like negative reinforcement or positive reinforcement, that kind of stuff. Like, she knows how to get into your head. So you're just like a dog, right? Asking for a candy. Like, every time when you try, you think like, oh, I'm almost there. I'm gonna get it, like, I'm gonna make it like that good, just like the first time. You just keep trying and trying, but she's like, nope, it's not going to happen. But yeah, but you don't know that, right? When you are in the relationship, you think, oh, I'm going to get that candy. But no, you're not going to get that.
So wait,
like,
what was the candy? What was the candy you were talking about? What is it that you're trying to...
The feeling, okay. Right? The first time when I met her, everything was great. Yes, I was chasing that feeling. I'm like, this person, like, I can honestly spend a lot of time with this person. Like, I like her and I like me when I'm with her. That's the feeling that I was chasing through, the entire time when we were having the relationship. And she's really good at like getting into your head. It's like I said it before. Oh my God. I'm actually trash talking I just told you the red flag I'm doing.
It's okay. But the thing is, till now, like when we kind of ask like Chill, like what kind of standards that you're looking for in a relationship, what kind of criteria that you have towards a relationship, right? But Chill just mentioned almost very important things, a lot of important things, except for the appearance.
Yeah, well,
and that part just somehow amazed me a little. I thought you were this kind of person like 颜控, right? You were like pretty
眼控. I mean, fantasize 的时候，所有人都是眼控，但是就是到了一定地位的时候，我现在感觉我之前就是when I was fantasizing about everything, like I have a standard, just like Ken always says, like she's horny for Michael B. Jordan. I mean, that's true. That's like my ideal type, but you have to like be realistic, right? I mean, there's still a little bit like inside of you thinking like, oh, I'm going to date someone that's hot and that gorgeous and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, I always want to find someone that I can talk to or someone can make me laugh. That's more better. If this person can make me feel good, then yeah, why not?
Right. So, truth to be told, Chill, you're also looking for a long-term kind of intimate relationship in your life right now. Even if at the very beginning you were not expecting.
Right now, no. Right now, like I'm not thinking about dating. Right now, I'm just going, like I'm telling you, after I get, after I'm at the place that I want to be in my life, this is what I want. Right now, I'm just like fighting for the dream life that I want to have. Like I have my own income. I'm totally independent. I don't need my dad to pay my rent anymore. Like I have my little income. I can do whatever I want. I have ideal friend, ideal family, but myself, I'm not at the, the perfect place that I want to be. So I'm working on myself. After I'm done working on myself, maybe I want something more. And then let's talk about long-term relationship.
So now you have a comparatively negative feelings towards the rebound, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
She's crazy. She was crazy.
But the thing is,
I was gonna say the B word, but like I controlled myself.
Yeah.
Like,
but the thing is, according to a lot of people, right? According to a lot of people, I've heard about this for millions of times, right? The best way to cure yourself after breakup is the rebound, right? So it is something that people should do, like to put yourself back on the dating market and tell people that, hey, I'm single, I am available. So that's like a very good solution for a lot of people. So Cho, you obviously have a very different opinion towards this, right?
Yes, that's exactly how I felt. Like, just like you said, rebound is the best way to, get rid of all those like old feelings. I mean, right until I think 2022, I had like a lot of people in my life just coming and going, like I was never like alone. I always have to tell someone like what I'm doing and like what am I thinking about. Like even if we're not in a relationship, even if we're at that some sort of like 怎么说就是暧昧的那种 like it's always someone, right? 没有那种空窗期. So that went on till 2022, and then I left my home. I got a new job, and then that was still doing the the COVID stuff. And then we had like a big lockdown, right? And then I don't know why. Maybe it's because like I'm in a different environment. I'm like I was never like truly alone, just with myself. And then I stopped. I'm like, why bother? Why do I have to tell someone what I'm doing? Why can't I just enjoy being with myself? And then I started to do that 2023 whole year, like I didn't work. I lived in a little like tiny studio apartment just with myself. I started to learn, what I want and what I like, what I don't like, and what I want for my future. So yeah, like rebound is not a long-term solution. If you have one rebound, there's going to be a second one. And all those feelings that you said it's going to just go away with a rebound. No, it's not going to go like that. It's not. I mean, if you're lucky, you can find a good rebound, you know, not like me, but still, what if the rebound's gone? You're still going to left with, you know, just by yourself. You're always going to be alone. You're like someday you'll lose your parents, even like as a woman or as a man, like every individual, you're always alone, right? So the first step is like you need to adjust that. Like you need to accept that. You need to know like you're always going to be alone and this is fine. Like there's a sentence that I really like. 他说孤独不是用来怎么说忍受的，是用来享受的。我特别喜欢这句话。Like you have to learn what you like spending time with yourself and then you can find like what do you want. I mean, if you're not individually like spend like long enough time with yourself and you don't know, and when you see someone's having a boyfriend, you're like, oh, maybe this is what I want. But you had a boyfriend, maybe it's not going to work out. And you had a girlfriend, it's not going to work out. So just keep chasing and you don't know what you want. This is kind of sad.
Wow, it's a huge progress, Chill.
Yes,
huge progress.
You know, I saw something on Weibo that was like in 2022. I saw a quote. It was from Marlon Brando, you know, the guy from Godfather.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was like some sort of interview, like it was too many words. I couldn't read all of them. So I just scrolled down to the bottom and I see like he actually like, you know, said one quote to my entire life is, I think I spend my entire life chasing love. And I'm like, oh, this is sad. This is not even romantic at all. Like, that's not like all you can have in life. There's friendship, there's family. I mean, you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friend. You can actually create all those like good moments and, you know, wholesome moments that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So why do you have to chase love for your entire life? That's just sad, you know? So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should find what I want, spending the time with myself, know myself, and then go get what I want.
Yeah.
Well, I think that perfectly describes a concept of self-love, right? I think in a way, although I think at the very beginning, Chill had mentioned a word, right? Feminist, right? A feminist, in my mind, I'm a boy, but a feminist in my mind, first thing coming to my mind would be independence. A feminist should be independent. Well, when it comes to independent, obviously including be independent from finances, independent from its, you know, relationships, from parents, right? There's a lot of independence from in terms of the surroundings that you have to depend on before. So I felt like when Chill had described herself in 2022, if I heard it correctly, left home, right? Decided to be alone. I think that's a transition of a dependent to independent. That's from a girl to a woman. I feel that's where I think you blossom, right? You start looking for self-love. If you're not a complete self, how could you know what you want? How could you know that other people want a complete self, that you're not depending on this boyfriend or this husband for the rest of your life, you know, to love you, because you love yourself, right? So I think that's a great description of self-love. It's a great transition.
Yeah, it's important to be independent. And at the same time, getting a divorce is never like a, you know, breaking up with somebody, right? But they do face the same kind of challenge, that is the detachment, right? And Cho just mentioned some of her breakups before. And then, Cho, do you think it's easier for you guys to detach from a relationship from the other human being? Because you guys are comparatively younger. Like what we just mentioned, you can always have the rebound, and you always have more friends to talk to, probably. You could always expand this circle around you, friend circle around you. So is it comparatively easier for you to do that, to detach?
I think detachment, that depends on your environment and yourself. Like at the first step of detach, I think it's like, do you want to do this or not? Like, do you want to still like hold on to this feeling or hold on to all these memories or not? I mean, when you're ready to do that, it's going to be easier. And I think for people that my age, right? I mean, I said it from the beginning, like, I don't think I can represent everyone. But for me, I think, well, I already have a great set of friends, right? Well, they're always here for me, supporting me and everything. And I mean, for my family, like, yeah, I can get support, not all the time, but still. So yeah, it always depends on you. Like, do you want to detach or not? I mean, did you get to, like, were you like forced to detach, or like you did it willingly?
Which one do you think is a comparatively difficult? Detach yourself from a relationship like financially, and detach yourself from a relationship like psychologically. Like, which one is more difficult for you?
The psychological one. If it's easy, I won't stay with that crazy for that long. Yeah, it's always gonna be like, the psychological one that's gonna damage you the most.
That's a basic setting of our memory sometimes, right? Like, I'm out of the dating market for so many years, right? But the thing is, sometimes some of the bad memories just popped up, and I cannot control it. Something just triggered that bad memory, and it just popped up, and then okay, then I just somehow just feel bad for a few minutes, and then I move on. But yes, that detachment is kind of difficult, and it could be a very different thing though. The memory could make it worse somehow.
You don't know, like, what's gonna trigger you. So if you get some sort of like physical trauma, like mental trauma, from someone, it's always going to be like, you don't know what's going to trigger you. It's like, I'm walking down the street and I saw a dog, and I'm like, maybe that dog has some sort of, like wearing some sort of jacket, or like it looks like something, and then boom, that's just going to hit you. Like, you don't know what to do. Like, you're going to, just like you said, you're going to be like, feel sad for a while. But I mean, for me, it's like let me just give you an example, okay? Like, this is a really, really bad example, but I told you, like, that girl is super, super. She can haunt you for so long, and then even after we broke up, like 2022, I came to this city to work, right? And she still managed to find me. The first reason that I decided like I should leave this person was when I was still at school, and she honestly, like, she scratched me. She scratched my neck. Like, I still have like a little bit of piece of, scar on my collarbone. So she can get violent, and I can't control that. And for a person, I mean, I didn't have like the best childhood, but as a person who was, protected kind of well in her childhood, like, if my first reaction to someone who gets physical with me, when someone hits me, I don't dodge. I just froze, right? Like, I'm like, what did I do? Why would you do this? Like, that's my first reaction. I still have that, right? Even if right now, if you hit me, I'm just gonna be like, why'd you do that? I won't.
That sounds like a huge red flag somehow.
Yes, like, I don't hit back, like, I hate that. I'm still trying to change that. That's why, like, I'm spending the time with myself, right? Like, just telling myself, like, one by one. Yeah, like, she scratched me. And then one day I was working, like, let's go back to 2022. Like, we broke up for like 3 years. I was working, and then like she somehow called me, and I pick it up. It was her. She's like, hey, like, I'm downstairs. Maybe you should, go, like, calm down. And then maybe we should
that's scary.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do
scary.
that. She's like, let's talk. Like, I brought your favorite, night cha. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But she came up to my, floor anyway, and we went to the staircase. And I think I was being kind of, how do you say? I finally put my foot down. I was like, don't do this. Like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do this? And then she just smashed that night on my face. She started to, like, scratch my neck and everything. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I finally pushed her off. And then she just left. Until this day, like, that night is like kind of local brand, in Xinjiang. I don't think you have it in Neiди. Like, every time when I see that, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, yeah, so that's why she was like so traumatizing. I mean, the good part about that is like I used to be a little bit of pushover, like when I was, going through all that before 2022. It's like when someone says that, I'm like, yeah, let's go do that. Like, I feel like I do have my own voice, but like I'm kind of afraid to say it out loud. So I just always go with the flow, right? If they want to do that. I mean, I'm a nice person. If that can make someone else happy, then yeah, let's do that. But after that, and after all that, when I took a little time, with myself, I'm like, my voice is important too. Like, I should consider myself. I should put myself in the first place. So like after that, right? That happened like a month ago. I was talking to my mom. Like my mom, she's a really, really loving lady. Like every one of my friends loves her. Like she's so kind. She's so, yeah, she's so nice. I was talking to my mom and she's like, I do everything for you. Like everything I do just to make you like, everything I do and every support that I gave you, I just want you to like suffer less. I want you to have a good life. I want you to have a happy life. If this was me in 2022, she said all that to me, I'm going to be like, thank you. And, like I will do everything to make your life better too. But a month ago, I said, yeah, don't do that. Put yourself in the first place. I mean, I am your kid. You gave me life. I'm so grateful. But still, put yourself in the first place. Don't do everything for me. I mean, why would you do that? Just put yourself in the first place. Like, like a minority, right? Maybe in your culture is kind of different. Like my people, we love gold. I mean, gold, everyone loves gold. But for Uyghur people, like every Uyghur house you enter, it's either gonna be like, like how do you say, floor mat. Like it's like super, super, how do you say? I think it's really beautiful. Yes, luxurious.
Yeah, I've seen some kind of decors of the
yes. And then you have to, yeah, and you have to put like all sorts of like stuff. It's made of something. I mean, my mom has that taste anyway. Like, so you can't wear shoes in the house. This is, I think, yeah, our people like everywhere is floor mat. And then when you see like a woman in my mom's age, like every one of them, they're just wearing gold everywhere, on their ear, necklace, like everything. And my mom has those, but like she has it less than her friends, like compared to her friends. I'm like, why don't you do this? Like, just go get one. I think we can totally afford that. I mean, why don't you do that? And she's like, I'm saving this. I'm saving all these, like, yeah. She said that I'm saving all these for you. I'm saving money for your, for your wedding and for your future. I'm like, don't do that. I used to be like, oh yeah, do that. Now I'm like, no, do whatever makes you happy. I'm not with you all the time. I mean, I'm trying to figure out my life. So I'm sorry I'm not with you all the time. But still, when I'm not around, take care of yourself. Do whatever makes you happy. Yeah.
When you are saying that to your mom, I think you are really saying that to yourself. You are in your head, you are ringing that reminder to yourself to say, wait a second, I gotta put myself first. Chill is first.
Yes. So my voice is important, like my feelings are important too.
Right. Yeah, I was about to ask Chill, like, what kind of lessons have you learned from your past previous relationships? But it's quite obvious, like, not only has she learned about relationships, she learned something, the dates are like experiments. She learned something more than the dates themselves, right? So it's, wow.
Well, any relationship, it's in a way just a kind of process for self-improvement, right? We constantly, we through relationships that really discover ourselves, right? Our relationship with our parents, our relationship with our partners, it makes us self-discover, wait, who am I? Where am I in this relationship? Where am I in this society? Where am I in my life journey, right? So I think that's why I really appreciate when she said, Mom, don't do that. Put yourself first. And that I resonate a lot because I used to think that at a certain period of my time, I'm thinking, oh, that's great. My mom's gonna, I'm gonna inherit all this stuff, money and a building and all that, your gold and floor mats. Those are beautiful, luxurious things. But then at the end of the day, we come to a stage to say, wait a second, they created that. They need to enjoy it. Why pass on to me? Now I need to create my own, right? So I'm going to put me in the center of my journey to create things and enjoy it for myself. I think a lot of times our Chinese culture, not just Xinjiang culture or let's say Uyghur culture or Han culture or I forgot Linsey's a minority group as well. But for all this culture, I think our Eastern culture in general puts me last. You know, when we talk about in terms of, okay, let's prioritize your parents, your husband, your kids, and yourself. Let's prioritize this. Typically, me comes last, right? Myself comes last. You're going to typically put the kids first, or your family, or your parents first, and then your kids and your husband, and then yourself. Like very different in Western culture is that me first. And I think to that extent, I think I'm not saying we have to be me all the time, but creating that balance to say only when I'm at my best, everybody else around me is at their best. You know, I think we should have that understanding.
Yes, you said it right. Like we see on Douyin all the time. 他们说东亚女性，觉醒的时间真的太远了，太久了。Like it's gonna take people, you know, especially like women, right? It's gonna take you like after you finish college, and then you're gonna realize like, oh, I'm the one who's important. I'm the one who's gonna spend this much time with myself. I'm the one who's gonna spend the rest of my life with myself. Right. Yeah, like why don't I put myself in the first place? Like why am I always letting other people get what they want? And why am I always like just saying yes to them when they want something from me, when they literally talking about they're going to take a part of me, my health, my mental health, my money, or whatever the hell? Like why am I just giving it to them? Like why do I want to sacrifice my own happiness? 他们说这句话，我看到这些的时候，我觉得对呀，我们为什么每次都觉醒的这么晚？为什么不从小就给人灌输这种 like you're the one who's important, right? Like your feelings important, your voice important, like everything, like you are important. So put yourself in the first place. If you don't even know how to value your own value, and how are you going to do, respect others? If you don't respect yourself, how are you going to respect other people? How are you going to learn how to love other people, right? Just give everything, every best thing. I think for our parents' generation is like, I'm gonna leave all the best thing for my child, like for my kid, for my grandkids. I mean, you enjoy it first, and then if it's nice, if it's good enough, and then think about other people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's never too late to mend. It's never too late to mend. I do have a very different opinion. There's a lady, she's 51 years old.
Oh yeah, I know. She drove
1岁自驾全国的那个阿姨。
对，
她
我特别喜欢她。
其实长期在她的关系里面，她的婚姻关系里面，她遭受的其实就是长期的忽视和我们说的这种就是 manipulation, right? 和操控。然后她走出来的，她现在走出来了。但是我其实在这个地方，我知道很多人，尤其像 Mark， 他们是在另外一个文化背景底下长大的人。他其实都会对于这些人他可能会提出一个疑问说，你为什么可以忍受长达10几年的这样一个你不喜欢的生活，你却不愿意花出1年的时间来改变，对吧？这样的大家都会有这样的疑惑，但实际上我的观点就可能就还是这样，就是像 Chill 说的，觉醒是有一点晚 ，right？
你知道为什么吗？因为我觉得也不是说个人肯定是有一些所谓的就是
attachment or
一些怎么说呢？第一个就是不懂嘛，第二个我觉得最大的这个 barrier 其实是在你的 surrounding， 就是也不是因为你没有办法接触它。你说我们说的井底之蛙哈。井底之蛙只看到一片天空，对吧？但也不能只是井底之蛙的这个蛙的错，因为它本身就在井底啊！你怎么让它？你叫它跳出去吧，它怎么跳出去？井那么高，你怎么跳出去？所以说，我觉得有的时候，虽然我们个人来说， 是吧？是说我们自己有这个 personal responsibility， 要去 reach out， 要去 discover， 要去 explore。但是在我们相对来说哈，在我们 Eastern culture， 这个 culture itself 就是那个很高的井，它很难去，旁边的人都在说。肯定是你要把你的老公跟孩子放在第一位啊！
对呀，结了婚都是这样子的呀。
对呀，你不能离婚啊！
你不能离婚啊。
别人都是这样，我也是这样子啊。你以为我不喜欢自己出去自驾游啊？我也想出去自驾游啊。但是你这个想法就是错的。我就是牺牲是一种很高尚的情怀，这个它本身就在道德的制高点来 PUA 你，没办法，就所有的在你旁边的人，包括你的父母，包括你的丈夫，包括你的儿子、女儿，包括你身边的邻居朋友，都在 PUA 你，都在告诉你你得忍，这个是你这个很高尚的一种牺牲。所以说，我觉得虽然说我们可以站着说话不腰疼，是说，哎，你们得觉醒，你们得那个，
是啊，
但是
得觉醒啊。
所以说，我说西方的这个那个，他的任务就必须得，如果是井底之蛙，想要让他们跑出来，你就得把一个绳子或者把一个楼梯给放下去，让他们有所就是更容易的跳出来，或者更容易的去爬出来。所以我觉得不一定都是所谓的井底之蛙这个蛙的错。所以说我们一定要去考虑是说怎么样 create an environment, let the people, let the women to be saying, wait a second, I can't, I'm okay to be thinking about myself. Right?
我跟你说，就在前2天，因为我 my aunt is not gonna listen to this, right? 我的娘她给我发了一条。半夜了，快将近半夜了，给我发了一条信息。他说他叫了一下我的名字，说阿静，我有家，但是家已不是家；我有夫，而夫想要的不是老婆孩子；我有孩子，而孩子却是他的需求要100%满足才行。我什么都有，却又什么都没有。然后后来加了一句没事的，就想说说话。我给他的回复是：你有你自己，你一定要在最有限的条件下，最大限度的满足自己，不要有受害者心态，不要去当那个受害者。你想吃甜的，你就买得起20块的小蛋糕，你就去买；你想去玩去得起2000块的地方，你就去。你自己要给自己找开心，不要期待别人给你带来开心。我是这样去回复他的，但后来他没有回我消息。但是我猜想，我一直以来跟他就是因为他的这个 family issue 还是怎样，我跟他说的一个内容，实际上就是说 ，you seriously have to like what Chill said to her mom, right? You have to take care of yourself, and this awareness thing, Mark, 这个意识的这个事情，只能说这个 surrounding 里面，如果说我们当中有一个人像 Chill to her mom, me to my aunt, right? Or to my sister, or to anybody, if there's one person in this group would actually tell them about this, then I do think the situation would be changed, right? So Chill actually didn't get her answer directly, I guess. Chill talked to her friends, Chill talks them, online friends or friends in the real life, right? She got her conclusion right now. Like she seriously made huge progress in her life, through this dating life to now, like the Chill we see right now. She made a lot of the progress, not only because of her, I guess. Probably sometimes it's from her friends, right? The inspiration from her friends or anything, yeah. That's called supportive environment or something.
Yeah. I have a friend, like she's really brave. Like I'm trying to catch on to her steps, right? She's really brave. I mean, she lives in Chengdu. Like she's super mean. But she's got to be like the bravest person I know. She went to surgery by herself, She used to be we used to be really cynical. And then like something happened and then I stopped, right? Like I used to be like, oh, fuck this life. You know what? Like it's a piece of shit anyway. I used to think like that. And then something happened, like both of us. I mean, I think something happened in her life. Like she went to the surgery, right? And then she said, like, after, how do you say that? Anesthesia? Something? Like it was, yeah, 他被麻醉完从手术室出来的时候 for like 4 hours. I think she slept through 4 hours. And she said after she wake up, the 4 hours was just blank, not even a dream. And it was just so empty. And she feels like, oh, this is scary. So she stopped being the cynical, like we used to just trash talk about everything. And then she told me that. I'm like, yeah, I stopped being cynical too. I don't think, like, it's not gonna end. It's never gonna end. When you say this much bad shit about this person or the life that, when you always complaining, it's never gonna end. You're never gonna find something that's gonna suit you or makes you happy. So I'm like, I stopped. And she's like, yeah, I stopped too. I mean, that 4 hours, that blank was really terrifying. And I start to be like more grateful. And, if something doesn't go the way that we want, then yeah, it's never going to go the way that you want, no matter how hard you try, right? I know this is like the last topic that you want to talk about.
Wow.
It's never going to go the way that you want, right? So, I mean, when you accept it happily, that's like, you're going to be happy. But when you accept it like with full of anger, with all that attitude, and when you be cynical, hating towards everyone, the situation is still going to be the same. So why not just take it like happily, right? Like, oh, yeah, I didn't get that thing that I want, but at least, I got this instead. I mean, it's never going to be the same, but, maybe we can try harder next time.
就是你改变不了客观的世界和别人对你的看法，你可以改变的是你自己对于这个世界和对别人的看法。
对，你自己的这个
Mark， 你
mindset。
发现了吗 ？Chill， 他才30岁都不到，他就已经开始在向内寻求了。
对啊，就是很多时候就是因为要经过这些所谓的这些 negative 的经历，对吧？然后我们才会发现，就像他的朋友一样，他刚才诉说的，他的朋友就是经过了对世界的看法是这个样子的，对吧？世界是很糟糕的，然后go into this procedure and then 4 hours later she came out and she said, wait a second, the world is not what I projected to be, right? 就是我总是相信一句话哈，我还是相信是说，这个世界其实是我们内心的一个折射。如果我们的内心就是相对来说哈，我们一直说，哎，这个世界这么糟糕，这么糟糕，那这个世界确实就是很糟糕，因为你的内心世界很糟糕。如果你是乐观的、积极的，你是那个，我觉得不是 PUA 啊，我觉得就是一种，你把你的整个世界去向外投射的时候，你自己是一道光的时候，对吧？那你旁边的就是一片光明，对吧？你不能去说光在哪里，光在哪里，我是处在黑暗的世界里，对吧？我觉得我们自己就是当我们自己看到自己的这个能力能发光的时候，哎，旁边就是一片光明。我觉得真的是就是需要时间，也是需要这个很多的这个经历。所以说人生其实也是 OK 的。Chill 26, but she's already on her way, right?
Yeah.
Because when Chill said that she's a feminist, right? And then the Chill that I know a couple of times that I've interacted with online in her own chat room or somebody else's chat room is very different from the Chill that I know today. I don't know what years was that. I always felt Chill is a little bit 有点高冷，有点不说厌世吧，有点会觉得是说the world owes me a little bit. That's how I kind of see Chill.
Sometimes.
现在今天的 Chill 我觉得非常的不一样，跟我以前认识的 Chill
today. Yeah, very
I
different.
was unemployed back then. Come on, I was hating everything. Yeah. I didn't have a job. I don't have time to kill. I'm like, yeah, you know what? If I'm having a bad day, you guys gonna have a bad one too.
Yeah. Okay.
That was back then.
Fair
when you
enough.
said that the lady who traveled, with car, that reminded me of a movie, but it ended like in a really, really different perspective. 刚刚说的那个自驾游的那个阿姨，她是在家里面，我看过她孩子采访吗？还是什么的采访？Like they're not agreeing with her. They're like, why are you leaving Dad alone? Why aren't you not taking care of her? I'm like, excuse me. I think your dad can survive by himself, right? Like that was my opinion. I'm like, yeah. And then like that reminded me of a movie, The Hours by Meryl Streep. It was like a story about 3 women, and then like Meryl Streep. Like her character, Meryl Streep character, she has a best friend. Like, she used to date that person, and then that person, like, he came out after, and then they become like, BFFs, like the most important part of their, life. Her ex-boyfriend, let's just say that. he was abandoned by his mom from, when he was a child. Like his mom just left the family. She just went away. And then at the end, I think the guy actually, like, he committed suicide, right? And the mom came to the funeral, and Meryl Streep said so much to her. And she said, like, her line, like, I love that line. She's like, the most sorry thing is I'm not sorry about it. Like, wow. She just left her entire family, and then she came back. Her son already killed himself because, like, he was already in some sort of illness back then. And she said, the most sorry thing is I'm not sorry about it. She put herself, and like, when she left her family, she realized, just like the Creamers, like, it was another Meryl Streep movie, just like the Creamers, it was Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep. Like, she was a housewife, like, right in that movie, she's taking care of her kid, her family, her husband, and she's like, I'm not myself anymore. And then she just left. And in that other movie, the guy's mom left, right? She had the same situation. She's not feeling herself anymore, and she just left to find herself, never came back, and she's not sorry about it. I mean, that took courage. Like, they literally left everything. Like,
a lot of
like
courage.
we say, a lot of courage. Like we said, people are always going to make you feel guilty about your choice because you didn't choose the thing that they wanted you to choose. I mean, for a woman, you didn't get married, you didn't have kids. So they're going to be, maybe they're angry at you, maybe they're jealous, I don't know. They're always going to be mad. But putting everything, all of that negative voices behind you, that takes a lot of courage. Like, I really admire that woman,
Yeah. So I guess I could predict your answer to my last question here for the topic.
Yeah.
According to our Chinese culture, I do think it's changing now, right? And people would have these kind of assumptions or ideas that when a woman get close to 30, then you're not that so-called valuable, right? So now you're 26 or something. I guess you're not really like panicked because you're going to be 30, right?
No.
Not at all, right? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no. So what about these expectations that your parents have towards you? Like, a lot of females in China, in our cultures, like, if you don't get married before 30, then you will never get a chance. So they would have these kind of ideas, and they would push you to go to those blind dates or anything, or try to educate you to to be so-called quote unquote, be responsible for yourself and your family and just be an adult or something like that, right? So my question is, do you think you should settle before 30 or a certain age?
Okay, that reminded me of my another relationship.
I mean, settle means like you seriously just okay. I stopped looking, right? And then I'll just settle with this guy. I would just start a life here, start a family here.
Before the dot of 30, whoever's at the moment present with me, I'm gonna settle with him, right? Is that what you or her?
是啊，就是我们的文化里面，是不是30岁还不结婚？30就对于女性来讲哈，但男人40还一枝花呢，但女性到了30，说30岁还不结婚，以后就没有机会了，好吗？所以在这个地方，我相信 Chill， 我不知道他会不会也会有这样的压力，但是他肯定不是这么认为的，对吧？但是我就想问 Chill 说，哎，那你觉得你现在有没有想要 settle 的这样的一个心态呢？就觉得
没有，No. I think this all depends on like. I mean, you watched that show, you know what I'm talking about. I watched Sex and the City when I was 16. That show. Yeah, I was 16. I was about to I was about to be a freshman in high school. Like, I watched that show. That show actually affected my entire dating life. I think, like, before, like I told you, before 2022, like, I was like, there's always someone with me, right? But I don't think like everyone is at my like mindset. I think everyone is replaceable. I mean, there's always someone, but I don't get attached to them, right? I can just change them. That was my mindset. And now when I think about it, I don't get panicked. I don't. I mean, in my mindset, when I'm 30, I think I'm going to get my, I'm going to get everything. I'm going to be where I want to be in my life. I mean, that doesn't include like having a relationship and having a baby. It's not on my bucket list. No. So I'm not panicking. All I know is like after this year, I'm going to have that kind of life. I'm going to work on that. I already have my friends, my family, like, you know, they're healthy. Everyone I care about is like happy and healthy. That's it. Like I have to have a relationship. I have to settle. I have to, you know, like have babies, have a house and have a mortgage and blah, blah, blah. No, those are not on my bucket list. You know, I was talking to a parent yesterday because like it's season 2, you know, the tuition is due. So I was talking to one of the parents and she's like, 开学了，所有的所有的学费都要一起交，哎，好好享受你的单身生活吧。And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. 然后他说
Yeah.
不知道我们都要怎么办。然后我就安慰了他一下，我说你们好坚强呀，包括我爸妈，你们现在都不知道你们是怎么供2个孩子上学，然后把他们养大的。我说对呀，所以好好珍惜你现在的生活。Like she's giving me advice, you know. She's like, live your life. Don't get married too soon. Don't settle and stuff. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And my sister, like, she's really funny. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get married when I'm bored, but she's never bored. She got married twice and then she got a divorce. She had a baby from the last husband, and guess what she's doing now?
What is she doing now?
Oh, she's a lesbian now.
Oh,
Wow, she's having fun.
To certain extent, that's a liberation of women, right? Sometimes women like, realize it's like men are, you know, many men at least that are surrounding them, it's useless.
So we should quote from Steve Jobs: keep looking, don't settle.
Don't settle. I mean, I settled. I tried.
Yeah,
I tried, but with my personality, I don't think I mean, like, I'm kind of OCD, right? I mean, I'm lazy and OCD at the same time. So when I be lazy, I don't care, you know, the environment is like, I don't care anything. But when I start when the OCD is kicking in, like, I need to get everything where it belongs. So if I settle, I don't think that's going to be a nice picture. So no, I don't think I will settle. And just like I said from the beginning, like 孤独是用来享受的，不是用来干嘛忍受的. Like I'm at that part when I'm with myself. I told you my college life was like really, really fun, right? That was like the best fun I had in my, I think, entire life, sure. But right now in my mindset is like, even if you want me to go date someone, at this point, I don't want anyone to disturb me. That's why I always choose to just live it myself. I don't even want a roommate. So yeah, I don't want anyone to disturb me. And when I want it, I will get it. I mean, I'm not going to go fight for it or something. I will make changes. I will make myself better and I can attract whatever I want.
This is the reason that I like to talk to comparatively younger people, because they're somehow, I do think they just grow so fast, right? And they're just so wise about so many different kind of things. And this is the episode about relationships, girls' expectation towards relationships, right? And I think the audience would be also a little bit amazed by Chill. So this is Chill. She just showed her other side to us. And thank you very much, Chill, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned. See you guys next episode.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.